Harihi Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Mahaperiyava Sharanam. Shri Soundarya Lahari, explanation of verse 36. Tavagnya chakrastham tapana shashikoti dyutidharam param shambhum vande parimilita parshvam parachita yamaradhyan bhaktya ravi shashi shuchinama vishaye niraloke loke nivasati hi bhaloka bhuvane. Verse 31 describes the tantras of Devi and Shri Vidya. Verse 32 describes Devi's Panchadashi mantra. The Saubhagya Panchadashi is detailed in verse 33. Verse 34 beautifully describes the Aikya Bhavam, the union of Shiva and Shakti, Shesha Sheshi Bhava. Verse 35 describes Devi in different chakras. She is the mind, the element in Agnya Chakra. She is space, the element in Vishuddhi Chakra. She is air, the element in Anahata Chakra. She is fire, the element in Swadhisthana Chakra. She is also water, the element in Manipuraka Chakra. She is earth, the element in Mooladhara Chakra. When she has transformed thus, there is nothing else indeed. Ambigai herself transforms her own self into the universe. She indeed takes the form of consciousness, the bliss, as the wife of Shiva by intention. Verse 36 describes in detail Ambigai residing in Agnya Chakra. Let us look at the Padacheda and then detailed explanation. Tava Agnya Chakrastham Tapana Shashi Koti Dyuti Dharam Param Shambhum Vande Parimilita Parshvam Parachita Yam Aradhyan Bhaktya Ravi Shashi Shuchina Avishaye Niraloke Aloke Nivasatihi Bhaloka Bhuvane. Tava Agnya Chakrastham Tapana Shashi Koti Dyuti Dharam. Tava, your Agnya Chakrastham, you who is present. Agnya Chakrastham, who is present in the Agnya Chakra, the chakra in between the eyebrows. Tapana Shashi Koti, millions of suns and moons. Tapana, sun, Sashi, moon. Koti, millions. Dviti Dharam, who bears the lustre. Present in the Agnya Chakra, bearing the lustre of millions of suns and moons. Param Shambhum Vande Parimilita Parshvam Parachita. Param Shambhum, the Para, supreme bliss, Shambhu, Shiva, Vande, I salute. Parimilita Parshvam, who is touched on both sides by Saguna Nirguna Swarupa. Parachita, by the Parachit, which is the supreme consciousness, Shakti. I salute the Parashambhu, who is present in your Agnya Chakra, he who bears the lustre of millions of suns and moons and who is touched on both sides as Saguna Nirguna by Parachit, the Supreme Consciousness. Yam Aradhyan Bhaktya Ravi Shashi Shuchinam Avishaye. Yam Aradhyan, by worshipping whom? By worshipping that Parashambhu. Bhaktya, with devotion. Ravi Shashi Shuchinam Avishaye. Ravi, sun. Shashi, moon. Shuchihi, fire. Avishaye, that is beyond. By worshipping with devotion, there is something that bhakta receives which is beyond the sun, the moon and the fire. What is that? Niraloke aloke nivasatihi bhaloka bhuvane. Niraloke, that which is not visible to our eyes, invisible. Lokate means seeing. Niraloke, that which is invisible. Aloke, unlike the visible world, that which we see. Nivasati, he indeed lives. Vasati, lives. Where does he live? Bhaloka bhuvane, in the luminous plane. Bhaloka, that which is completely illuminated beyond the sun, moon and the fire. I salute the Parashambhu who is present in your Ajna Chakra, who bears the lustre of millions of suns and moons, and who is touched on the both sides by the Saguna Nirguna Parachit, Supreme Consciousness. That Bhakta who worships this Parashambhu with devotion certainly gets the blessing of living in that luminous plane, indicating Chidananda Swarupam, the supreme bliss totally illuminated, that is beyond the sun, moon and the fire, which is invisible. And that world, that luminous plane, is unlike the visible world that we can perceive. Mahaswami of Kanchi describes how the couple of Amba and Shiva are placed in Kundalini chakras, in which Ambal resides as the tattvas from Manas to Prithvi, that is from Ajna Chakra to Mooladhara. Each chakra has a name, function and quality, but each has supreme compassion in common. In Ajna Chakra, there is a Tapana Sashi Koti Dviti, the radiance of millions of suns and moons, which uplifts the devotees to the state of liberation beyond the radiance of sun, moon and Agni. Ajna Chakra, in which Ambigai stays comfortably with ease, is flooded with illumination of the countless. The illustrious sadhakas get the blessing of this glorious vision of the self, which is that blissful unity, realizing that the Antaratma and Parameshwara Mahabhagavati's Advaita Jnana. This verse indicates that a bhakta who salutes the supreme Shambhu, who stands in the Ajna Chakra, radiant with the brilliance of millions of suns and moons, whose Saguna Nirguna Swarupa is embraced by the Supreme Consciousness, and thus by worshipping that Shambhu with all devotion, one takes that abode, which is a luminous region, transcending the brilliance of sun, moon, fire, devoid of all agani, indicating the supreme bliss, Chidananda Swarupam. Tava Ajna Chakrastham Tapana Shashikoti Dvyuti Dharam. Present in your Ajna Chakra with lustre of millions of suns and moons, Param Shambhum Vande Parimilita Parshvam Parachita. I salute the Para Shambhu, supreme bliss, Shiva, who is touched on both sides by Parachit, the supreme consciousness, Shakti. Yam Aradhyan Bhaktya Ravi Shashi Shuchinam Avishaye. By worshipping that Parashambhu with devotion, that which is beyond sun, moon, fire, Niraloke Aloke Nivasatihi Bhaloka Bhuvane. The Bhakta gets the blessing to be in the luminous plane, the Sahasrara Chakra, which is beyond the luminance of sun, moon and fire, completely invisible, unlike the world which is visible to us. The corresponding namas from Lalita Sahasranama: Udhyat Bhanu Sahasrabha, she who glitters like 1,000 rising suns. Mitra Rupini, she who is the form of sun. Ravi Prajna, she who has lustre like sun god. Savitri, she who shines like the sun. Trikhandeshi, she who is the lord of the three zones of fire, moon and sun. These namas describes the radiance of Ambigai, the radiance that gives us the blessing of supreme consciousness, Chidananda Swarupam. Agnya Chakrantaralastha, she who lives in between the two eyelids in Agnya Chakra, the one who gives us the orders. This shloka can be chanted to cure even diseases that are said to be non-curable, the so-called deadly diseases. Thus concludes the explanation of verse 36 of Sri Soundarya Lahari. Sarvam Krishnarpanamastu. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Mahaperiyava Sharanam. Jai Jai Shankara. Hara Hara Shankara.